No, Mr. O'Sullivan, it is actually incorrect and unbelievable that you will say you want to come to South Africa and be integrated into the way of living without knowing what was happening in South Africa in the 80s, because the 80s were the most volatile years of our time. There were killings, there were state of emergencies declared. If I'm not wrong, in 86, I think it was declared twice. The youth were on the streets, people being killed. Even at your 20s, there's no way you can escape that point and come here and say, no, I didn't know what was happening. Maybe I was naive. That is incorrect. And then the only thing you're telling us is weather. You call the bodies of our people on the floor weather. Because that was what was happening at the time. People were being killed. And you wanted to come and join that kind of lifestyle of killing people. Are you not aware that people were being killed at that time when you were applying to become a citizen in South Africa?
I only applied to become a citizen in South Africa in 1994. And I became a citizen in 1995. So it's a reality that I had not applied to become a citizen. And it's also a reality that I have not stated that I did not know what was going on in the country at the time. I knew what was going on, but I didn't know the level of detail that I later found out. Because as you spend more time in a country, you find out more. So, you know, that's my evidence.
But in the letter you wrote, Mr. O'Sullivan, you spoke about the 80s and that you were just 20 and you had no idea, and we can still say maybe you were naive at that time. It can be correct that you're talking about 95. There was an interest in the 1980s. And you were interested in the weather in the 80s, and I'm saying to you, it can be correct. And worse, you didn't have to stay in South Africa to know what was happening in South Africa. There was a big anti-apartheid movement in Britain, in London. Surely you knew the release Nelson Mandela campaign, very prominent in Britain, and you come here and tell us you wanted to come and settle in a country where people are demanding the release of Nelson Mandela, where children are being killed and all of that, because you were naive, you knew a little bit of what was happening. That is unacceptable. I don't think it's an acceptable explanation. You came to our country to become part of the privileged at the expense of the exploited. Will I be correct to make that observation?
Chairman, definitely not correct.
I didn't hear the answer, Chair.
May I request you that when an honorable member asks you a question, you look at them and respond to the question.
Chairman, I'm not able to turn and look without moving my chair. I don't have, because of my spine, I don't have the ability to turn and look that way. Unless I'm given a chair that's got wheels on and I can move it easily, I don't have the ability to turn and look in that direction. So if somebody can provide me with a chair with wheels on that I can move easily, I will be able to turn and look.
Possible said in all our institutions.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Now I can look.
Yeah, I was worried about that because for the earlier part of the morning, you could imagine when honorable members ask you questions and
Now we have a problem, Chair. I have to have a firm back behind me and this thing's moving. I can't lean, I have to be able to lean back without the chair moving.
the chair does not have to move.
Hang on. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, there. There's somebody that understands these chairs is able to fix it so that when I lean back, it doesn't go away like that.
Mr. Mpilo, let's assist. And
No, I don't want to go down. Put it back up again. Ah, that's it. Thank you. Now it's fixed.
is it fine now?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I can lean like this without it going over like that.
Can you turn it to my side? Let's see.
Thank you, Chairman.
Can you turn it to that side? Let's see. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, look at Honorable Malema and talk to him.
Afternoon.
Were you done, Honorable Member?
I'd asked a question and then he gave an answer. That's when I said I didn't hear the answer.
Can we proceed?
I didn't get the answer.
Okay.
The answer was that what you said, would that be correct? And my answer, Chairman, was that would not be correct.
Thank you. And then the handwritten letter, do you recognize your handwriting there?
Chairman, I feel that is my handwriting. But as I said, 42 years ago, I'd completely forgotten about it until somebody showed it to me the other day. So, yeah, I believe it is my handwriting.
Let's put it differently. Is that your handwriting on that letter?
I believe it is, Chairman.
Chair, what is the answer now?
There is no answer.
Is that your handwriting on that letter?
I believe that's my handwriting on that letter.
No, I'm not asking about belief. I'm asking about whether that letter is authentic and it's your handwriting that you see on there. You may not remember the content, but surely all of us remember our handwriting.
So I would probably say that is my handwriting.
Thank you. And then lastly, how do you say to us you don't remember who was your commander? Is probably 30 years ago and all of that? Because obvious, every police station in a particular year has got a station commander, has got this, has got that. And those people that we worked with for such a long time, and then giving people certificates that are not recognized by any institution, and giving them awards which you bought from a shop or Discom or something like that. You should remember those people. There's no way you can work with people and achieve these things that you said you have achieved. And you don't remember under whose command, as a person who's trained in military intelligence, a person who has been a reservist without being a citizen in South Africa, and having served for such a long time, there is no way you cannot remember who was a commander of these operations, because the discipline of what you are doing actually requires that you know your commanders.
Thank you, Chairman. I did not say I don't know who was my commander. The station commander in those days was Director Vermaak, and the detective branch commander was a Colonel Badenhorst. So, but I've never said, nobody said to me, who is your commander? And I've never said, I don't remember who my commander was.
No, the question was, these things that you are telling us, is there a person who was commanding you who we can make contact with, who can confirm that indeed these achievements were made? And you said, no, I can't remember, it's 30 years ago or plus. I think it was asked by Honorable James.
Sorry, Chairman. The reality is that I didn't say I can't remember who my commander was. I said I would have to look into it and find out. And if you go back on the record and play it again, you will hear that I said I would have to go and find out who. I don't even know if Director Vermaak is still alive. Our Colonel Badenhorst, I cannot say whether or not he's still around, because with 30 years ago, and with all due respect, I was a lot younger then, and they were a lot older than me. So if I can find somebody, but in the meantime, what I have done to try and evidence what I've said in my affidavit is I've attached some, just some, by the way, there's a lot more newspaper cuttings about the work that we did. And not one of those newspaper cuttings, Chairman, mentioned anything about intelligence services or anything like that. It was all about the successful work that we did and what we achieved in proper policing. Thank you, Chairman.
You see, the problem is going to be when you ask yourself questions and answer your own questions. No one asked you if those people were still alive or not. Whether you are dead or alive, if you have been my commander, I will still mention you as being my commander, and the files will dictate that, of course, the person is still alive or not alive. We didn't ask if your commanders are still alive or not. We asked, who can we reference this thing with, that these things that you are telling us to confirm, maybe your commander or any of the people that might have supervised some of your activities. And I'm happy that without referencing anything contrary to what you said, I have to reference and check, because some of these people, you were able to give us some names and we can work from there.
And
Thank you.
Chairman, it's clear if you look at the letters, which is page A53, it's addressed to the station commissioner at Boyson's SAPS. It says, for the attention of Director Vermaak. And it's signed by J. Schultz, Senior Superintendent, Head of Training. Now, I can go away and find out if there's somebody that still has knowledge of the work that we did back then that can come and say, yes, he did this, or no, he didn't do that, he did this, and what. But it wasn't put to me until now that I should be able to find such a person.
Thank you, Chair. It's very short. I wanted to find out the issue of parallel. What do you mean parallel? There was you were approached before the job was advertised, am I right?
They told me that they intended to create such a position, and they would be placing an advertisement in the Sunday Times. And that when they place the advertisement in the Sunday Times, they would like me to apply for it, because they liked the work that I had done at the airports with the border police.
Yeah, if I hear you well, you said that they didn't want to appoint a white person, am I right? That's what you said earlier?
So, no, I didn't say they didn't want to appoint a white person. I said that when Mashida Romano was made the chairman of Airports Company, he had agreed with the Minister of Transport that he would not appoint a white person into any senior position on the board of AXA.
Right. Now, my last one on that, clarity on this parallel. When you said to the evidence leader, when she asked you about the parallelism of that advertisement, I didn't hear you well. What is parallel there on that? There was another candidate, or what was it?
Don't remember using the word parallel, but there were other candidates and there were interviews.
So it was a formality. The job was created for you.
No, Chairman, the job wasn't created for me. They had a panel of people that did the interview.
To disclose that the minister and the chairman, Ramashuda, approached you before that job was advertised.
My understanding is that they'd taken a decision to advertise the position, but they hadn't advertised it, and the advertisement was coming out either the next week or the week after. So I
No,
was
my question
informed-
is, did you disclose during the interview that the minister, Dula Oma, and Ramano Mashudu, that they've approached you, that they are going to create a group executive for aviation and security at AXA?
Yes, I did disclose it in the interview. In fact, the interview panel included the chairman.
The same person who asked you to, that you advertise that?
It's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Malema.
No, Chair, thanks. When the advert was taken out for this position, what were the requirements in terms of qualifications?
I can't remember, Chairman. We're going back over a quarter of a century. I didn't keep a copy of the advertisement.
Do you have a degree or equivalent yourself?
No, that wasn't a requirement.
Do you have a degree or an equivalent? You.
No,
So that post will not, Group Executive Aviation and Security will not have required a degree.
no, there was no degree required in the advertisement.
It was designed to suit you.
I don't agree with that. The advertisement came out the week after I had that meeting.
Who was in the panel? How many were they and who were they?
I think there were 4 or 5 directors of airports company, the chairman and 3 or 4 other directors.
Was there no one representing the minister at the panel?
Chairman, I can't remember. It's, I think 26 years ago or 25 years ago. But there were people sat there. There were directors of the airports company, and there was the chairman of the airports company. And I think the group executive HR was there.
Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, everything good about you, you remember it. For sure, you even remember the flight number you came with here. But if something is not of your favor or interest, all of a sudden we're told, yes, it's 26 years ago, it's 30 years ago. But you have detailed every achievement you have made. You remember everything that suits you, that is good about you. There is a panel, you're being interviewed for such a senior position. Was there no one there representing a minister?
Chairman, when I went in for the interview, I didn't ask, where are you from, where are you from, where are you from, where are you from? There were 4 or 5 people there. I can remember the name of Mashudu Romano. There was another gentleman who was a white person. He was a director of the airports company representing Aeroporti di Roma, who was a shareholder. And to my knowledge, there was somebody there, but I don't remember who was representing the other shareholder, which was the government of South Africa. And then there was the HR director, and that's it. I can't, you know, I mean.
Did you have any qualification or any practical experience that has to do with aviation?
I've been a pilot for 40 years and been a pilot for 40 years.
For 40 years?
Yes,
So you are a qualified pilot?
40 years.
I'm asking, are you qualified pilot?
I've been a qualified pilot for 40 years.
You went to school to be a pilot?
Yes. I own my own aircraft.
I live that, that I understand. But school, because those people of pilots go to school and then they have to do some hours. Have you done all of that?
I've done all of that.
And then you had security experience, because it's aviation and security.
I have that experience. I went on a course in the United States to learn specifically about aviation security because I wanted to understand. There's an organization called ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. And they have a training center where they train people and they qualify them as aviation security specialists.
So will you be able to give us a certificate of that aviation security that you went to America for,
If I can,
and your pilot certificate.
well, I can show you my pilot's license right now.
No, no, not license, school, the school. Where you attended school, obvious, when you finish, they give you a qualification. Will you attach it? Will we get it tomorrow?
If I can, what do you mean if tomorrow? If I can find it?
Two things, please try to find them.
Chairman,
One of aviation security institution that you attended to in America, and the qualification, not license. Because there is a certificate that you get, which will tell us if, where did you go and do your training? And then how many hours did you serve before you qualified to become a pilot?
Chairman, I wouldn't have any, I didn't fly to Cape Town with all these documents, knowing that I would be asked these type of questions from 40 years ago. The reality of the situation is, and there is my pilot's license. I have a pilot's license. I didn't buy it on the street corner. I did my training. I have my own aircraft. I fly my own aircraft on a regular basis. You know,
I wouldn't know if you bought it at your own street corner if you don't give me the qualification. The ticket doesn't say anything. When it comes to academic qualifications, that ticket you are showing me doesn't mean anything. I want certified documents that come from a recognizable institution that confirms that you went training to become a pilot and you passed the certain levels of the requirements, and the institution in America to check if that institution is recognizable institution and its qualification is recognizable. And we need both, even if it's not tomorrow, Chair. We need to, because here is a post, we're being told he can't remember what were the requirements. He doesn't have a degree or post-matric qualification. It says he went to aviation security to some institution and all of that. We need to see all of that, to see if indeed there was some element of qualification closer to this post that was specifically created for him.